Okay, hi. This is my second attempt at this video. This is a challenge that I am attempting to do for Facebook and a friend of mine on Facebook called Brandeline Johnson. I'm in a group of hers called Spiritual and Personal Development. I think I got that right. And basically, it's a bunch of entrepreneurs and non-entrepreneurs who are seeking to better themselves in some way. I joined the group because have been trying to better myself as an entrepreneur. So she put this challenge out for us this month, and the idea is that we make a short video explaining how we practice self-love. And as I was saying in my first video that got interrupted by a child, so I think you know where I'm probably going with this. As a parent and the time of year it is, I feel like it's a really bad time for a self-love challenge. I'm barely feeling any love lately, honestly. I'm barely staying above water. I'm having a really rough time because it's summer and I've got kids with me all the time, and I am, for all intents and purposes, a stay-at-home mom as well as an entrepreneur. So I'm trying to run a business with children underfoot all the time. And I'm stressed. As I said in my first video, I'm barely sane at this point. Like, I'm barely staying above water. I feel like, it's a constant struggle. So self-love, this is something I do practice, actually. And I just wanted to kind of start with a short history of self-love in my life, because it's been something that I've had to really, really work at. It wasn't something that was taught to me. I don't feel like either one of my parents particularly loves themselves. I grew up watching them abuse themselves in different ways. My father is an addict, so he abused himself with drugs. And both of my parents, when I was young, had hard labor jobs that were, really not fulfilling and just something that you had to be out there busting ass, basically. So I watched them tear their bodies up from the time I was young. They both also had rough childhoods, and they, took those issues into their adulthoods. And I don't think that either one of them has, to this point, learned how to completely love themselves and accept themselves for what they are. That being said, I also grew up in Hawaii, which is a beautiful place, but I live in a very brown area. And when I was growing up in the early 80s, there were not a lot of white people out here. There was like 4, 5 maybe, like in my graduating class that I can remember. And I always stuck out. And I was extremely bullied as a young child, and I was called all types of names. Like, I can 100% identify with the struggle of a darker person on the mainland who lives among all white people. I know that's hard for a lot of people to buy, but that was my life growing up. It's not very conducive to self-love. So honestly, in my early 20s, I went through a really rough phase where I did not practice self-love at all, and I was partying really hard. I was engaging in bad relationships, making bad choices, and just really being self-destructive. So now that I'm in my 30s and I am an entrepreneur, I've had to learn that in order to run a business successfully, or even to attempt running a business, you have got to accept yourself, and you've got to give yourself leeway, and you've got to love yourself. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere. You have to believe in yourself if you're trying to be an entrepreneur. So, like I said, this is a really rough time for any parent trying to talk about self-love. I've got a week to go before my kids go back to school. But there are some things that I do to keep myself sane. And depending on the amount of time I have, that changes. So I guess if I was to say, like, a bottom line to self-love would basically be, my number one, piece of advice would be just accept yourself as you are, and basically give yourself the benefit of the doubt as much as you would anyone else. Most people are willing to give others that aren't themselves so many chances. They're willing to listen to so many excuses. They're willing to put up with so much BS, but they give themselves such harsher standards to live by. So, like, I was the same way as a perfectionist, and I still am. I still have to stop myself all the time and have, like, that little self-talk, like, you're okay, you're doing better than you were last year. So that would be the first thing. Just give yourself permission to be who you are, and understand that you are growing at your own pace. It is not going to be lightning speed. It's not going to be easy either. As for actual tools, my favorite, I have several. Like, I'm sure there are other people out there like me. I get depressed sometimes. And I have a really hard time practicing self-love, because when you're depressed, that's the last thing you want to do, right? So there's like harder and easier things. When you're feeling good, well, some of the things I recommend are taking mineral baths. They're really good for getting bad juju, bad spirits, negative energy off of your body. And it's also good because you need minerals. So we absorb the minerals through our skin, they relax us, and then they rejuvenate us and give us energy for the next battle, right? Another thing I really like is yoga. Yoga is one of my favorites. Like I said, though, right now I'm parenting full time. I'm watching my kids 24 hours a day. I haven't had a lot of time to do yoga. So this is my in a pinch thing that I recommend to everyone. Like, even if you are too depressed to get out of bed, this will help you. Go to YouTube and download, or actually just look up healing tones. These things have helped me so much in the last 2 years. I basically discovered God's 6 healing tones on YouTube about 2 years ago. And I started just listening to the healing tones. And basically the 6 tones, all you hear is like a ee, and they do it at a different frequency. As I learned more and did more research and started looking at the other stuff on YouTube, I would find specific healing tones for specific things. So for example, one of the big ones, I've been fighting against migraines for the last couple years. So one of the big ones for me is healing tones for migraines. So what you do is you go and you just put on healing tones for whatever you have. Like if you have anxiety, and they have them for sleep. So that's the best thing about it. You don't have to do anything. Like, I know a lot of people say meditate. That's hard, especially if you're not feeling the love, man. If you're having a hard time accepting yourself, you're not gonna be able to sit there quietly with your thoughts for 10, 15, 20 minutes, an hour. That's just asking a lot. So what I say, like, if you're really having a hard time, and what I like to do is I do the healing tones while I'm sleeping. So like, go on YouTube, look it up. Healing tones for, my favorite is dissolving overthinking and anxiety. Those have helped me so much. And basically just listen to them while you sleep. You don't have to do anything else, and you wake up feeling better. This is my advice. I have to go back to my children. I hope this video finds everyone well, and I hope that I did okay on the challenge, because I'm trying. All right. Anyways, Lindsay Bregan, Health Style Hawaii. Check me out. Thanks. Bye.